Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and we've had some very exciting XRP news. The SEC announced that they have essentially dropped any appeals that they will have towards the Ripple lawsuit. Now, I've seen some people say that it means that the Ripple lawsuit is officially dropped. Other people say the SEC is just looking at not appealing at all, so there could be a resolution really soon. And of course, that was amazing news. And once it was announced, we saw XRP start moving. But then, of course, a lot of people have said, well, XRP only moved 20 cents. So, everybody getting their hopes up, is kind of ridiculous. Now, I've said this in many videos, and I've even said this recently. And it's a really important thing I had to learn the hard way. And I think it's a really important thing to consider, which is the only news that really mattered within this whole Ripple versus SEC lawsuit was the ruling that XRP is not a security. That's all that matters. And even then, when that was announced, we didn't see the price skyrocket in the way people thought it would. And I would argue that when it comes to crypto, there's no news out there except for one thing that really matters. It doesn't affect the price. It doesn't affect where crypto's going. It effectively shows us that it's still tied to the 4-year cycle. Now you can go back and look at XRP from 2017 until now, and there's no single piece of news or partnership or announcement that has been publicized that has made XRP move in the way that we think it should. There is only one piece of news that could ever exist that would make XRP move rapidly, and that is banks acknowledging publicly that they're utilizing, adopting, and using XRP. That is the only way and the only type of a news announcement or news that would actually make the price skyrocket. And for me, when I see these, breaking bits of information or news about, the SEC could drop the Ripple lawsuit, or it has, or it's not going to appeal, whatever it may be, that's fantastic. But I don't sit back and go, great, now I'm going to see the 10x, 100x, 1000x I expect. And I've learned that the hard way. From about 2017 until about 2020, it took me that chunk of time to realize that you've got the number one crypto in finance, which is XRP. It is the only finance-based crypto that existed in 2017. It's the only crypto that has repeatedly discussed the notion of working with banks and financial institutions, not breaking away from the existing framework of our financial institutions and not saying we want to do something different. We've got the crypto in finance talking about working with legislators, working within regulations, so that we can take our existing financial and banking system and change it for the better, but keep it existing within the financial framework that we see today. No other crypto offers that. And despite the fact that that's what XRP was designed to do, despite the fact that Ripple is utilizing XRP and is developing and encouraging and growing with partnerships and with legislation and with wanting to bring XRP as a cryptocurrency into all financial institutions and banks around the world, and taking the steps necessary so that when banks and financial institutions get that green light and they can finally adopt blockchain technology, that everything is in place for XRP to be adopted. All those partnerships and announcements and news over the years has shown very clearly that when it comes to crypto skyrocketing, news doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. And I've had to learn that the hard way. The amount of announcements I've heard from Ripple, back in 2018, announcing real-world assets on the Ripple blockchain, the XRP blockchain. And the main response from people were, well, why would we want to send gold or silver or a real estate deed, like why would we want to use a blockchain to send that? It doesn't make sense. Like it just, no one really saw the benefit of it. We've seen numerous partnerships and even banks say, hey, we've trialed XRP. And if banks ever used cryptocurrency, we would love to use XRP. We've seen that happen globally. And nothing's come of it. We've even seen, as I said, Ripple going to bat in this lawsuit, spending tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to not only prove that XRP is not a security, but to get complete legal clarity. And even then, the price didn't move the way we hoped it would. So I've learned that the hard way over the years. And that's why when I look at where the market's going, I don't really think to myself, well, even though we're stuck on a 4-year cycle, and even though we've seen time and time again that we're going to have a Bitcoin halving event, we're going to have a post-halving bull run, we have an alt season to close out the bull run, and then we go into the bear market. I've never really thought, after going through my first bull run and first bear market, that any type of news would disrupt that, other than banks and financial institutions actually stating that they are embracing, adopting, and utilizing XRP. And that's why in multiple videos I've mentioned this idea of a utility run existing outside of an alt season, and that is going to be the catalyst that sparks much higher price growth in XRP. And so yes, while it's great to see this type of news, and this is not me being negative, it's me being realistic and having that common sense. Because a lot of people felt disappointed that when they get that type of announcement, like the SEC saying, we're not going to appeal, we're going to drop the lawsuit. Like when you hear that, you think, wow, I would expect XRP to rally. And so when it doesn't, then people get frustrated. And they go, and it becomes a situation of going, well, what's the point? The point is that these are these stepping stones that lead towards that utility run. Because if we have pro-crypto sentiment at a presidential level, if we have the SEC finally admitting that, you know what, we're not going to go ahead with it, Ripple, XRP, both safe, there's no legal uncertainty anymore, that paves the way for banks and financial institutions to look at XRP with confidence and to make that calculated decision to adopt cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology into how we conduct finance. Banks and financial institutions aren't going to change the way they do business for a volatile asset that has legal uncertainty. It's not going to work that way. And that's why, initially when I made my videos discussing this, for me, I talked about this idea of maybe 5 to 10 years. This was back before Trump got back in, so there was a lot of uncertainty about where the US was going and where the rest of the world was going with cryptocurrencies. And the financial sector has never really embraced blockchain technology the way other sectors and industries have. And it's one of the things I've stated from the very beginning, which is finance-based cryptos have the greatest potential to rally, but it's in an industry that is yet to embrace blockchain technology. And that's fair enough. It's going to take time. But now that we have such a pro-crypto sentiment from the President of the United States, and whether you like him or not, that is a very big vote of confidence to single out a few cryptocurrencies, including XRP, and saying, you know what, these are the cryptos worth accumulating and holding, and these are the cryptos that could change things for the better. When you have that level of confidence, combine that with the fact that now we have the SEC saying, you know what, we're going to dismiss the case, we're going to drop it, we're not going to appeal, Ripple is free and clear, that's when you start seeing banks willing to look at embracing blockchain technology. And it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Bank of America, who have openly said they would willingly utilize and look at XRP once there was a resolution in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. And if that's coming to an end as quickly as it seems it is, then we could quite, easily see Bank of America sooner rather than later make that announcement. And ladies and gents, that's when it ceases to become about simply the 4-year cycle or the alt season, waiting for that small window of volatility so we can make life-changing gains. That's when we're talking about mass adoption. We're talking about banks and financial institutions around the world getting that green light to go ahead to adopt blockchain technology and finally having that confident step forward to utilize the crypto that they've been trialing since 2017. And that crypto is XRP. And that's what we're talking about, the utility run. Something that is separate to the alt season. But then once that utility run kicks in, that's it. It's game over in the best possible way. Because now you're no longer waiting for that small window of opportunity every 4 years. Now you're talking about, on a daily basis, millions, billions flowing directly through XRP because it's being utilized by every bank and financial institution around the world. And once that happens, there's no more volatility. There's no coming back from that. There's no, from Monday to Friday this month, XRP is going to be up at $1,000. And then for a couple of months out of the year, it'll be $50 again. We don't see that volatility anymore. And that's what I mean by one piece of news, one announcement, could actually make a difference. Because here's the thing, there is a lot of positive news when it comes to Ripple and XRP, and we've seen that time and time again. But unfortunately, XRP is still, quote unquote, a victim. And I mean that kind of, with a little bit of sarcasm, but let's be honest, it's kind of the victim of the 4-year cycle. It's a victim of the vulnerability. And so it doesn't matter how much positive news we have when it comes to XRP and what it's doing and the partnerships that Ripple is building so that when banks and financial institutions want to go ahead, it's that kind of seamless integration, that seamless transition from where we are now to a new financial system. All that groundwork is being done now. They're laying the foundations with Ripple and all the partnerships. Those foundations are being laid so that when it's ready to go, get the green light, it can happen. Because banks and financial institutions aren't going to want to sit back and go, okay, now we have that green light. Let's wait 6 to 8 months until someone gives us something that we can use. They want to turn to the crypto that they've utilized already, that they've trialed. And they don't want to sit around and wait. They want to go ahead with it. And look, once they go ahead, it could take a couple more months or maybe a year of testing and trialing, making sure that, XRP and the XRP blockchain can actually sustain the financial space, the financial sectors of the world. That's a trial period that we'll have to probably go through. And that's the thing, ladies and gents, these are big discussions and these are big things that need to happen. And so that's why when you have the kind of news that we're seeing even now, that's very positive. Unfortunately, not much happens because we're still tied to that 4-year cycle. We're still waiting for that alt season. And that's why you have to have that differentiation between alt season and utility run, because we're talking about something entirely different. But that's a good thing, because XRP is the crypto that has the greatest potential to achieve both volatile, parabolic price action in an alt season and utility run level price. There's no other crypto out there that I can see that has the same potential for achieving both those things. And that's what makes XRP so unique. And ladies and gents, of course, none of this is financial advice. So when you see really exciting news and you don't see the price moving the way you want it to, that's okay. It's okay to be frustrated, but also understand the reality of it, which is until we see that one announcement that essentially kicks off a utility run, then unless we see Elon Musk tweet out XRP, for example, then we're probably not going to see the parabolic run we would like to see. When we see announcements like, the SEC is not going to pursue the Ripple lawsuit. Of course, we'd all love a 10x or 100x or even 1,000x. Of course we would. Everyone wants that. But unfortunately, that's just not the reality of the situation. And it's never been that way. Despite the amazing partnerships we've seen over the years, despite the victories we've seen over the years, there's been no piece of news or information or announcement that has resulted in the type of prices that we want to see. Those are the type of prices we will see in a utility run. So until we see that type of announcement from like a Bank of America or some other financial institution, until that day, we just have to continue to be patient. We have to persevere. And if we have the opportunity to, we continue to accumulate. And if we can't accumulate, we continue to hold. Because we do have an alt season that has to kick in, and we are going to see really amazing price movement in that alt season. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, maybe even more. But we're going to see that happen over the next couple of months. So we need to be ready for that. And then as time goes on, we will start to see things heading towards a utility run. And when that time happens, then we're no longer talking about the $10 or $20. Now we're talking $100, $500, maybe even $1,000 per XRP. So until that time, as I said, don't be discouraged. Have the fortitude to hold and know that there are exciting things coming for XRP with both an alt season and a future utility run. And ladies and gents, as I stated, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the other cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all my cryptos, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.